Hello and welcome to the Great North Gardener. I'm Albert, and today we're diving into making your garden amazing without emptying your wallet. We're talking 12 brilliant, budget-friendly tips that'll get your thumbs green and your bank balance happy. Whether you've got a massive back garden, a tiny balcony, or just a windowsill, there's something in here for you. We're going to cover everything from making your own super-powered soil food to nabbing free plants. So grab a cuppa, get comfy, and let's get stuck into making your gardening dreams a reality on a budget. First up on our thrifty gardening adventure, composting. It's dead easy and one of the best things you can do for your garden and your wallet. Think about all those kitchen scraps you normally just chuck in the bin. Instead of going to landfill, they can be transformed into black gold. By making your own compost, you're getting top-notch soil enricher for free. This homemade compost is packed full of nutrients that your plants will love. Tip number 2 is seed saving. This is a brilliant way to get plants for next to nothing. Instead of buying new seeds every season, collect and save seeds from your existing plants. For plants like beans, peas, or tomatoes, let some of the fruit or pods mature and dry out on the plant. Collect the seeds, make sure they're completely dry, and store them in a cool, dark place. Next spring, instead of rushing to the shops, go to your little seed stash. Let's talk about giving your plants a home without splashing out on fancy pots. DIY planters. Think outside the box. Old tires, Wellington boots, tin cans, wooden drawers, plastic bottles, or wooden pallets can be transformed into planters. The main thing to remember is drainage. Make sure your DIY creation has some holes in the bottom to let excess water escape. This is your chance to get creative, add personality to your garden, and save money. It's a fantastic way to recycle and repurpose things that might otherwise end up in landfill. So, before you buy a new pot, have a rummage and see what you can make. Let's chat about harvesting rainwater. It can be as simple as putting a bucket out when it rains. For a more serious setup, invest in a water butt that connects to your downpipe from your roof gutters. Using rainwater instead of tap water for your plants can make a real difference to your bills. Rainwater is often better for your plants than tap water, which can contain chlorine and other chemicals. It's a super simple, eco-friendly way to be a thrifty gardener. This next tip is all about community and sharing plant swaps. Swap plants, seedlings, cuttings, or seeds with other gardening enthusiasts. Find plant swaps through local gardening clubs, community groups, allotments, or online forums. Offer up some of your own extras and get something new and exciting in return. Plant swaps are a brilliant way to meet like-minded people, share gardening tips, and discover new plant varieties. Keep an eye out, or even suggest one to your mates. It's a fun and thrifty way to grow your garden. Let's talk about mulching. You can often get your mulch for free, straight from your own garden or neighborhood. Mulch helps to keep moisture in the soil, which means you don't have to water your plants as often. It's brilliant at suppressing weeds, reducing the need for chemical weed killers. As organic mulches break down, they release nutrients into the soil, improving its structure and fertility. So before you chuck those autumn leaves or grass clippings, think about using them as mulch. Your plants will be happier, you'll have fewer weeds, and you'll be saving water and money. Plant food and fertilizers can be expensive, but you can make your own using common household items and kitchen scraps. Banana peels are packed with potassium, which plants love. Chop them up and bury them near your plants. Coffee grounds add nitrogen and improve soil structure. Just sprinkle them around sparingly. Even the water you've used to boil eggs or vegetables contains nutrients that your plants can benefit from. Comfrey or nettle tea creates an incredibly nutrient-rich liquid feed. It's much better for the environment than synthetic stuff, and a brilliant way to be a thrifty gardener. This next tip is about propagation, taking cuttings. Take a piece of a plant, encourage it to grow roots, and you've got a new plant. Remove lower leaves, dip in rooting hormone, or place in water or compost. Multiply your favorite lavender plant, or create a row of rosemary bushes. Fill your garden, give plants to friends, or use them for plant swaps. Try propagation. It's gardening magic. Join or start a community garden if you're short on space. These are shared plots for growing fruit, veg, and flowers together. Share resources like tools, compost, and water. Learn from fellow gardeners of all experience levels. No garden nearby? Start one. It takes organizing, but the rewards are huge. It's about fresh produce and building community. Ask your local council or chat with neighbors. Community gardening is amazing and thrifty. Let's get creative with upcycling. Look at old unwanted items and think, how can I give this a new lease of life in my garden? Broken crockery can be used as crocks in the bottom of pots or to make a mosaic pathway. An old wooden ladder can become a tiered stand for small pots. Old colanders make fantastic hanging baskets, and old sinks or bathtubs can be turned into quirky planters. Upcycling saves you money, reduces waste, and adds a unique touch to your garden. Let's talk about natural pest control. There are loads of effective, budget-friendly, and eco-friendly ways to manage pests. Companion planting is where you plant certain things together because they help each other out. Marigolds deter nematodes, nasturtiums act as a trap crop for aphids, and basil repels flies. Encourage beneficial insects like ladybirds and lacewings by planting things they like. Simple tricks include using beer traps for slugs, soapy water for aphids, and copper tape around pots. Outwit those pesky critters the natural way. It's better in the long run and often free. Our final tip for budget-friendly gardening is seasonal planting. Working with the seasons is one of the smartest things you can do. Plants have their preferred growing times, and planting them when they naturally want to grow means more success with less effort and expense. Seasonal planting means your plants are more likely to be strong, healthy, and productive. Seeds and young plants for seasonal crops are often cheaper and more readily available when they're in season. Go with the flow of nature. It just makes sense. Happier plants, a happier you, and a happier wallet. And there we have it, folks. 12 awesome, budget-friendly gardening tips to help you create the garden of your dreams without breaking the bank. Gardening is all about experimenting, learning as you go, and having fun with it. Be resourceful, think creatively, and don't be afraid to get your hands a bit mucky. Share your successes, ask for advice, and maybe even swap a few plants. Get out there and start putting some of these thrifty tips into action. Thanks so much for watching, and happy gardening, everyone. Gap 3S. So, you're pumped and ready to start your thrifty gardening journey, but what about the tools? Don't worry, we've got you covered. In this bonus section, we'll show you how to create your own garden tools using everyday household items. Save money and get creative with these simple DIY projects. Gap 2S. First up, let's make a homemade watering can. All you need is an empty milk jug and a few small holes in the cap. Voila! You've got yourself a handy watering can perfect for those delicate seedlings. Gap 2S. Next, how about a DIY seed planter? Use an old muffin tin to create perfectly spaced holes in your soil. Just press it into the ground and you've got a ready-made planting guide. Gap 2S. Need a garden scoop? Cut the top off a plastic bottle, and you've got a lightweight, durable scoop for soil or mulch. It's that simple. Gap 2S. And for those pesky weeds, an old fork can be repurposed as a weeding tool. Just dig around the base of the weed and pull it out by the roots. Gap 2S. Lastly, don't forget about labeling your plants. Use old popsicle sticks or broken pieces of terracotta pots to make rustic, eco-friendly plant markers. Gap 2S. There you have it, folks. DIY garden tools that are easy on the wallet and fun to make. Get creative, recycle, and enjoy the process. Happy gardening, and see you next time. Gap 3S. Now that you've got your DIY garden tools ready, let's talk about timing. Welcome to our seasonal planting tips segment. Knowing when to plant different types of vegetables and flowers can make a huge difference in your garden's yield and save you a bundle. Gap 2S. First, let's talk about cool season crops like lettuce, peas, and radishes. These thrive in the cooler temperatures of early spring and fall. Plant them as soon as the soil can be worked in the spring, and you'll have fresh produce in no time. Gap 2S. On the flip side, warm season crops like tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers need the heat of summer to flourish. Wait until the danger of frost has passed and the soil has warmed up before planting these. Gap 2S. But what about flowers? Annuals like marigolds and zinnias can be started indoors in late winter and transplanted after the last frost. Perennials, on the other hand, are best planted in the fall, giving them time to establish roots before the winter sets in. Gap 2S. Don't forget about succession planting. By planting crops in intervals, you can enjoy a continuous harvest throughout the growing season. For example, plant a new row of carrots every few weeks to ensure a steady supply. Gap 2S. And here's a money-saving tip. Collect seeds from your plants at the end of the season. Store them in a cool, dry place, and you'll have seeds ready to go for next year's garden. Gap 2S. There you have it. Seasonal planting tips to help you get the most out of your garden. Happy planting, and see you in the next video. Gap 3S. Now that your garden is flourishing, let's talk about how to keep it that way without spending a fortune. Welcome to our Thrifty Garden maintenance segment. Maintaining your garden on a budget is easier than you might think with these simple tips and tricks. Gap 2S. First, let's talk about fertilizing your plants. Instead of buying expensive fertilizers, use compost or make your own compost tea. Just steep compost in water for a few days, strain it, and then use the nutrient-rich liquid to feed your plants. Gap 2S. Next, consider mulching. Mulch helps retain moisture, suppress weeds, and enrich the soil as it breaks down. You can use free materials like grass clippings, leaves, or even newspaper. Just make sure to keep the mulch a few inches away from the plant stems to prevent rot. Gap 2S. Watering your garden can be another significant expense, but it doesn't have to be. Use a rain barrel to collect free water from the sky and water your plants in the early morning or late evening to reduce evaporation. Drip irrigation systems can also be an efficient way to water your plants and can be made from inexpensive materials. Gap 2S. Pest control doesn't have to cost a lot either. You can make your own insecticidal soap by mixing water and a few drops of dish soap. Spray it on your plants to keep pests at bay. Encouraging beneficial insects like ladybugs and lacewings can also help keep the pest population under control. Gap 2S. Regular pruning and deadheading are essential for keeping your plants healthy and productive. Use sharp, clean tools to remove dead or diseased parts of the plant and to shape them as needed. This will encourage new growth and prevent the spread of disease. Gap 2S. And finally, don't forget to keep an eye on your garden's health. Regularly inspect your plants for signs of stress or disease and address any issues promptly to prevent them from spreading. Gap 2S. There you have it. Thrifty garden maintenance tips to keep your garden thriving without breaking the bank. Happy gardening and see you in the next video.